Hello, Essential Computer Skill Training students. Welcome to day one. Today, we are going to be looking at a computer basics PowerPoint. In addition, you have a packet that is also in our Google Classroom. And remember, we find our classwork under the Classwork tab. We did several things for fall orientation, and now here is the welcome packet. Opening it up here, and it's several pages talking about keyboarding basics, mouse basics, hardware, and the PowerPoint will go along with the worksheet. All right, so first thing is first. If you could open up a blank Microsoft Word document. If you don't have Microsoft Word or don't know if you do, a Google Docs would also be wonderful. And if both seem too hard or you don't understand, no big deal. You just sit back and listen. Let's talk about typing. Have you seen those old typewriters ever? Maybe a family member or you've been to an antique store. But here is that old typewriter. And we use typing or the word keyboarding as this to mean the same thing. So what with keyboarding? We now have a much more mobile and a much efficient keyboard to the left. And look at, we can move, it isn't very heavy or bulky. What we would like you to do is on your computer, if you're using a computer for this, place your fingers on home row. Do you know where home row is? Word processing. If you've heard that term before, that really is meaning that you are creating documents. What are documents? Well, they could include letters, resumes, reports, assignments. What is on the left here? What type of document is this, Olivia Romero? If you said resume, you are correct. Let's talk about the alphabet character keys, okay? These keys are all the ABCs right here, and they're found on the center of the keyboard. If you do have a Microsoft Word or Google Docs document open, then will you please type your name? You are typing your name using the alphabet character keys. The numeric character keys. They are found on a basic keyboard in two spots. We have it on a horizontal up on top of the alphabet character keys. And then what we have is called the 10 key right here. And that's on the right side. If you are using a laptop, you do not have the 10 key. You just have the top row. Now we'd like you to type your birth date, and you can either use this or on a classic keyboard. Now, if you start typing on this 10 key and it's not working, it's because you have to make sure that number lock is on. And when that's on, you actually have a green light that indicates it, okay? Then also, oops, I gotta move this up here. Type the year you were born, and if you have the 10 keypad, use that. Special characters. The special characters are also found on the numeric character keys. How we get those to work is that we have to press the Shift key. So where is the Shift key? Well, there is one on the left side and the right side of your keyboard. So you hold the Shift key down and then press the 4. When you do that, you will get a dollar sign. If you would do the shift key and do the number 1, you would have an exclamation point. So please practice using the shift key and pressing down a number. Next, we have the function keys. The function keys are at the way top of a keyboard. On a laptop, they are still located at the top, but they are smaller size buttons. We will be looking at several functions throughout the semester, but some can do a print screen, can turn on volume, turn off, make the brightness of your monitor brighter or darker. So there's a lot with the function keys. Press the F1 key, please. Special keys. These are the special character ones, and they are found and one of them is the shift, but we have the caps lock, the control, our windows. Now, your keyboard might look a little different because, once again, if it's a laptop, it doesn't have all this space. But these are different characters, and even like right here, we have a control S is save, a control C is copy, and we'll be taking a look at this in the next couple weeks. So really, on a keyboard, there is so much that you can do. Speaking of doing, press the control key down and the letter P at the same time, and what happens? You should see the printing command come up. If you do the control key and press the letter 0 at the same time, that will want to open up a new document. So let's talk about hardware. Hardware are things that you can touch. That includes keyboards, monitors, printers, okay? Desktop computer. This is hardware. It's large, and it's supposed to sit on a desk. Then we have laptops, and it's smaller. Some laptops are becoming so small, aren't they? And they're used to be carried around. We have a mouse here, and you wouldn't need to use one for a laptop, but because you would have a touchpad that we'll talk about, but they're still needed for desktop computers, and even for my laptop, I use a mouse. A mouse enables you to point and click and really talk to your computer. Mouse pads, they're usually a small rubber pad, and it just makes the mouse work better and doesn't get so sticky or stuck, and is nice. The touchpad, I just made reference to this. Now, on a desktop computer, you don't have a touchpad. On a laptop, you do. And this is the picture. It's that big rectangle at the bottom of your keyboard, if you will. And that can be used instead of the mouse. Keyboard, we talked about that the alphabet and numeric keys. Now let's talk about the mouse pointer. And we will, in our first lesson, our first unit, I should say, talk about different mouse shapes. This is a very common mouse shape, the pointer, and it lets you knows that, see, I can even show it on mine, that I'm pointing to different things on the screen. So I want you to do that on your own. What you also see are tooltip text, that when you put your pointer, your mouse, over things, sometimes a box can pop up. And those are tooltip text. Google Docs and Forms, all of that they use a lot of tooltip text. And then place your mouse pointer over a button and see what happens on your screen. Headphones are really nice and highly used, especially on a public computer, that you can just listen and to the computer and not have to listen to other people, or you wouldn't disturb people around you. Let's talk about computer parts. Our first lesson, we will look into this even more, but right here is the monitor that holds the screen. What we really just spent a great deal of time talking about is the keyboard, right? Then the mouse. And this, what a lot of students want to call this, is a tower. If you're in school right now or have been in school, our desktop computers, the tower, this is really known as the CPU, or the Central Processing Unit. And think of it as the brains of the computer, the engine of the computer. We'll talk a little bit more about the mouse. And once again, we are following that welcome packet and talk about how you should hold the mouse. And notice that it's your right hand. Now, I've had 2 students in my life that have changed it to their left hand, but I'm even left-handed and I'm able to do the right hand. So it talks about that your thumb should rest on the table or the surface, that your pointer finger should be on the top left and your center finger on the top right. Then we can use the scrolling with our pointer finger in between. So if you haven't, please put your hand on the mouse in the proper position. I was just talking about between the left and right clicks, there's probably a wheel. This is a way to move your pointer up and down the screen as well. Some people don't even know the scroll is there, but some people really use it a lot. These are the proper ways to be holding your mouse. Now, the biggest thing that I see is students, now watch that, is that your wrist is down, resting on a table or surface, and that's not good. That can cause tendonitis and carpal tunnel. And so see how the right, that it's parallel, that it's the same height all along. Then here is that if you're moving your wrist to the left or right, that isn't correct form either. We want to be straight on. This will reduce injury. In the back of your packet, you have a basic computer skills assessment sheet that we would like you to fill out. There are no right or wrong answers. It's just you taking a look at yourself and saying, do I know how to shut down and restart a computer? Thank you so much